sit back, relax, we got the brain of band. No need to stress in the house, it's Van Bellen. The game is windsurfing, you can't yell them or tell them. We get the news, the views, the win biz. The brand's gear, just plus the world's best quiz. Carbs, PWA. We're professionals without the pay. There's nothing in pole dancing that we won't chat. From tandem boards to a windsurfing cat. It's your one-stop shop for a laugh and listen. Tune in each week or you'll be doing the missing.
Morning.
Betty, how you going, mate? You've been getting some sailing in?
I have been. I've been racking in the hours because there was like a forecast this week, which was looking like it was this week and then next week and the next week after doesn't look so good. So I've been racking in the hours, which is why there has not been a podcast last week. And also we had massive storms here in Portugal, so big that they blew all the signs over. I got up in the morning and these big signs that are advertised and everything are all bent over, the metal bars. And it was like some sort of apocalyptic view. It's pretty funny. Like fences are blown down all in the night. We didn't even hear anything in our house.
Oh, right. Oh, wow. Yeah, I saw on your Instagram. I saw that massive sign that blew over.
Yeah, it's pretty mad.
Nuts.
So we did have like power cuts for the whole podcast time. So we are back. Obviously, if you are tuning in, you will know that the Chile PWA, IWT, WWT, we'll go into that in a minute because I'm not sure what we're calling it right now, but the Unified Tour, the first 5-star, which is the one with the big points and when anything can happen, is going to kick off right now. In fact, it actually started, I think, officially yesterday, and we were hoping we would get a draw. So far, they haven't done registration and there isn't a draw online. So that might change this podcast. We're going to do a few, obviously, podcasts from over in Chile. We're going to be talking about who we think are going to be major players, who is leading the world rankings at the moment, because they do have a new system, which is a rolling 12-month ranking, which is pretty interesting. So we're going to be going into that, and the men and the women. Like I said, we're going to be seeing who's got the best chances in Chile, who's going to be livening it up, because we do have a tour leader at the moment, which maybe some people wouldn't have seen coming, which is hard to believe because he's actually one of the best sailors in the world. But it's quite interesting. First time he's ever been leading the world rankings. And we are going to bring in some expert knowledge from over in Chile, because me and Mr. Paul Van Bellen over there have not got the inside scoop. Unless, do you have the inside scoop?
No, only from just Instagram posts of people. Looks like they had some waves, doesn't it? I don't know.
It looks like it's been crazy good. I was looking at some pictures. I haven't seen so much video. Actually, one of the guys we're going to bring in actually dropped one of the best sort of preview videos I've seen. A lot of action from over there and from all the different sailors, not just them themselves. I really enjoyed watching it, and it gave me kind of got me a little bit excited for what we're going to see this week.
That's the idea.
Is there live stream? I don't know.
Well, no. I mean, for 5-star events, it's a master.
Oh, well, yeah, but I haven't heard anything. So
I guess not, but
have I been paying attention? Probably not, because I've been windsurfing. So anyway, without further ado, let's bring in what are we going to call them? Inside knowledge, guys on the beach, their ear to the ground.
The boys, the lads.
Morning. Here they are. Guys. So we have obviously got Finn Mellon from Ireland and Lucas Meldrum from England.
Excellent.
And we chatted to the boys last year. They had a great time, and obviously they've gone back again. What do you know, boys? Have you had a good time so far? How long you been there? Introduce yourselves.
Well, I'm Finn. Lucas. We've been here coming up to 2 weeks, I think. It's been pretty good. We haven't had as much sailing as we did last year, but still, it's just like Chile's good.
Just a really nice trip, isn't it?
Yeah, we've surfed a lot, and the surf's been like world class.
Yeah, okay. You're both surfing. Lucas, you're a keen surfer?
Yeah, I mean, Finn's from Ireland, so obviously he's got a bit of a head start. He's been ripping. I've been trying to, as I said, I think when we came here with the forecast didn't look great for the wind, but I mean, I was still saying to him, I'm pretty excited because the surf's like amazing here. it's just quite fun to do that. So yeah, plenty to do.
Are you basically surfing just the same wave that you wave sail on, straight out the front there? Is that most of the time, or?
I surfed Matanzas one day during the windsurfing days, and basically just got kicked out of me and sent home by the way from people.
Yeah.
And then other than that, we've been sailing at surfing Matanzas, Portugal, not Matanzas, sorry, Topacama, Portugal, and just a few other waves around. Because to surf Matanzas can be a bit tricky there's a lot of water moving, like you're constantly paddling. We did surf it yesterday. The swell's quite small now, and that was it was nice.
Give me an idea of temperatures, because I have seen people walking around with hoods on, boots and stuff. What sort of temperatures are we talking about? Is it cold for you coming from Ireland, or is it pretty like are these just the Canarians and the Spanish guys, getting a bit crazy?
Yeah. Simple. It is.
Yeah, so it's not that cold.
It's fine.
No, it's like for me. It's kind of like a good day in September in Ireland. So it's
okay.
The mornings are quite chilly. The mornings are going down to like 8 degrees, 10 degrees. Okay. So that's where like wearing coats and stuff. And I actually made the mistake last year. I didn't bring enough warm clothes. So this year I've packed a few warmer clothes. Then during the day, like yesterday was actually cooking. Yesterday was 24, 25 degrees, I would think.
Bloody hell, so there's that much difference. 8 degrees in the mornings up to like 25 in the day. Jesus Christ.
You get like this morning fog, like not every morning, but almost every morning. So it's kind of like a lot of this wet, kind of cold. But then the sun normally just kills it away by the middle of the day.
Bloody hell.
And if it's windy, we're kind of like you're on the beach in shorts and a jumper. It's that kind of weather. So I would say it's similar to our summers. And then the water I'm wearing a 4.3. It's pretty good. You could get away with a 5 mil. I think the boys are 5 mils as well.
What's the water temp? It's like 13, 14 degrees or something, is it? Or?
Probably 14 degrees around that.
That's not too bad. Yeah. Okay.
It can change a lot. Like I remember last year we came and I was thinking at the start I could have maybe gotten away with a 3.2. And then by the end, I think depending where the swells are coming, if the swell comes from south, it brings a lot of cold current. So at the end, I remember we were surfing one day and I was thinking I nearly need a hood here or booties.
Yeah. That's quite like Cape Town.
Yeah. I think it's similar. Yeah.
But yeah, you do see a lot of people wearing a lot of wetsuit here, which wouldn't fly at home.
I've got to say, boys, I'm quite happy to see you both made it on this trip, because obviously the last trip you guys tried to plan together, you didn't even get into the country. I think we have done that. Yeah. But maybe just a quick summary. These boys went over to Oz. Or maybe you boys can just quickly sum it up.
Well, it's funny. I'll let Lucas tell the story. But the first thing, Lucas arrived a day or two before me here, and when I came up the stairs, Lucas was like, haven't seen you in a while. Last time I saw you, you were in a little cell. And last time I saw him, he was being carried away by these two blokes, by these two security guards.
I mean, like I said, we have done that on the podcast, but basically these boys went on an Oz trip earlier this year, and due to a couple of text messages to someone about some random work, maybe they were going to do some odd jobs here and there, the customs guys picked up on it and basically chucked them as they come off the plane, put you back in like a holding cell and stuck you on the next plane home and said, you ain't coming in. And then you're banned, I guess, from Australia usually for 5 years, maybe. Is it, or have you got, maybe you did get a ban, I don't know.
It's pretty unclear, but I'm not.
You're not going back.
Oh, no. I'm not going back. I'm not.
I need to ask you this because I haven't asked you this. So, like, let's say you get off the plane, they put you in a holding cell, they check your phones, they find out this information, said you haven't got a visa. Okay, you're going home. Do you have to pay for that plane home?
What's quite interesting, Lucas did.
I don't know. They basically get the airline to call you. So I just got a call the next day from Air Mauritius, who I flew with, and they they knew all about the situation, and they said, right, we're going to book you on this flight. We need your card details, and then you just pay it.
Oh shit! You have to pay.
And then my one's a funny one. It came through. Like again, I was supposed to get that phone call, and for 3 days I didn't get any phone call. And then all of a sudden, I like kept asking the people outside my door, being like, "Where's my phone call? Where's my phone call? Where's my phone call?" And then all of a sudden, he just thought he was smart and funny. He was like, "Oh, they called me, and I was going to tell you in the afternoon." I was like, "What the fuck?" And so that's where you might have seen in my stories the problem with, and I was talking to Paul, problem with my board bags, because they had all my bags at the time, and they just didn't put my bags on. So in the end, I haven't paid for my flight because fuck Qatar, the airlines.
Okay.
That's cool.
I just paid for a stupid amount for board bags. But I think if I were to ever go back on Qatar, like at the desk, they'd charge me for my flights.
Okay. Oh bloody hell.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway. That whole Australia thing is over with now. You're in Chile.
We're right.
So you're there. I've seen the video, Finn, and I've actually seen Lucas. I've seen a couple of videos from you, but the one I watched the last one I watched was Finn's video. Looked like you've had some good conditions. Obviously, you haven't been sailing every day, but give us a bit of an idea. Who's looking good in the warm up? What conditions you've had, and how's it looking? I mean, there's a lot of questions in there, but how's it looking for the competition?
I guess we'll start off. How's conditions been? First day we sailed Topo Kama. Actually, we sailed Topo and then Matanzas.
So just for people who don't know, because I don't know, Matanzas is basically where the competition, where the World Cup is going to be held, and that's pretty much where you guys are all staying. When you see those awesome views over the thing with the rock, that's Matanzas.
That's Matanzas on the event site. And then Topo Kama is about an hour's drive south. And you drive there about an hour south. You generally go there early because the wind fills in earlier there, and then it just keeps filling. It's like similar to Scarborough and Cape Town in the sense it just keeps filling in. Generally, most days are 4-0 by the end of the day.
Okay.
At which point, then you kind of pack up and leave and come to Matanzas because it's windy in Matanzas by that stage.
I see.
And it's kind of like night and day. Matanzas is like dreamy. Topo Kama is dreamy. It's perfection.
It's like a wave pool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Give me some other spots which you would kind of relate Topo Kama to, just for people who've never been. If they've been at these other spots, what would you kind of liken it to?
It's actually difficult. I would almost struggle.
I don't think I've sailed anywhere like that.
It's a beach break, isn't it? It's a beach break.
Yeah,
it's a point break.
Yeah, like
on a beach. Yeah.
Think of those. You see the Mexican point breaks that all the surf films have, like those perfect reading where like wedges up behind this island. You can see the big island there. The wave wedges up behind the island, and then breaks down into the bay.
Skeleton Bay.
More friendly.
It's more friendly.
It's a lot more friendly. I can't really liken it to anything else that I've seen. Lucas said it pretty good, like a wave pool.
Yeah,
it is. Like it's the most perfect friendly wave I've ever surfed and windsurfed, I think.
Okay, you're selling me. You've sold me. In fact, I'm in.
And just for a bit of context here, for anyone who I haven't been to Chile, but I've been to San Diego, but not down to Matanzas and so forth. But it takes about an hour, does it, to drive from Matanzas to Topo Kama? Is it? Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, okay. And here's so just for everyone watching, you might not be able to hear, obviously, if you're listening, you're not going to know, but here's Topo Kama here, and Matanzas is here. So it looks like to me, it's quite a scenic drive through a bit of a mountain ridge or some kind of, I don't know, it looks a bit hilly or something. It's pretty nice. Yeah.
It's a decent drive through like small little villages, and you go a lot more inland. So what's actually interesting, we were talking about the fog in Matanzas in the mornings. Often that is just a sea fog. So as you drive inland, you can't see anything here. And then you drive inland and it's fully sunny. And then you almost go back to Topo and you go back into the fog.
Okay. And
so,
you basically got to get a 4-wheel drive, because from what I've seen, the beach at Topacama, it's obviously sand, it's a beach, but you've got to drive like you've got to drive along the beach.
Oh.
Is that correct?
This year actually there's a new route. Well, it's not a new route. They've improved the route, and I think it's like you can see that lower strip where the mouse is just there.
yeah.
You can go around like the beach and come in on the left hand side of it, and you can drive that. I think in a car.
They've actually
around this way or this way. Over here, you go.
No, it's
this way. Is it?
I think the route around goes a lot more inland.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. It goes down
you don't
here
want to go
somewhere.
on the beach. You have to go quite a way.
I see what you're
And
saying.
it seems sort of commonplace in all the videos I've seen that someone gets
Oh.
stuck. It doesn't, you know.
We've got a funny story.
Go on.
Yeah, with some other windsurfers this year. They got stuck and then realized they didn't put it into 4-wheel drive.
After spending about 40 minutes trying to unstick it.
Oh dear. Come on, name names. Name some names.
Off you go. I don't know who actually was driving. I know the group.
Yeah, we know the group.
That's all right. That's enough for me. I'm just here to laugh. Come on.
It was Arthur, Julian, and his brother Yannick.
Okay, that's about right. No, I'm joking.
And where else is good for wave sailing? I mean, if if anyone who wants to visit Chile outside of the event, where else is good?
We actually haven't done that much. We've only windsurfed Topo, Matanzas, and then the Point Break further down from Matanzas. But there's hundreds of spots. Like from speaking to Victor, who we're staying with, he just tells us there's so many places to sail. And kind of you can come here before Christmas, and it's windier, so then there's also more like jumping spots and other places to sail. But
I think what he was saying is like, well, at the moment, it's been the last few days, it's been quite big, and Matanzas kind of holds the size quite well, even better than Topacama's. Apparently, Topacama's been like too big, almost like closing out. So I think when it's smaller, you can go to different spots, more like around here, around the corner. There's a beach break, which is kind of more like European conditions where you can go jumping as well and stuff. But I think this time of year it's a bit less wind and more swell, and there's not as many options.
I was just looking at the pictures on can you see those, boys?
Yeah.
I mean, that's I guess this is a big day at Matanzas, is it?
Yeah, that's the biggest day we've had so far. Which there was waves. I'm not sure if the photos were shown, but it was mast and a half, like properly big ones coming through. And when it's
pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I was going to say it's sketchy.
Fully. It's fully, and like when it's like this, there's a full-on river flow, and like the rip going out is faster than the wind. People were spending, like I was talking to Gregory, the Greek Gregory, on the boys. He spent an hour trying to get out, and like that was including also like Marsilio was struggling, Burns struggling, Morgan, everyone struggling to get out for ages on this day.
And what you can't really see on these photos is because they're like straight on, like the wave is like a properly heavy wave. If you saw the side angle, like a lot of them are fully barreling square things.
Like there's somewhere there's a good aerial picture of Brow, like getting a big.
Yeah, I was just trying to find him.
I was filming that one, and you can see it. It's like he goes out of frame on the aerial, and then the barrel, like when he lands in the flat. The barrel fully spits its guts out, like Paniche, the Super Tubes event that's just run for the WSL.
Yeah.
Like it fully spat as he landed the air. So it's
gnarly.
A heavy
what,
wave.
What sort of sail sizes you been on in Matanzas this week?
5.0s.
5.0. Was that the sort of standard, like bigger stuff?
4.7s and 5.0s. There's a couple of people using 5.3s. Like Mark's been using a 5.3 a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say like I've been on 4.5, so probably anywhere between that and a 5.3.
Okay.
And
Depending
it's
on
and you like maybe if they do the live stream, you'll see like people like fully planing out, like looking stacked. But when you get right where the wave is breaking, there's literally the wind just drops, and there's like all the current and stuff. So you need to go a lot bigger than you would think.
Yeah.
And it's a bit onshore at the start, so you need that extra bit of sail.
I'll be honest, watching last year, it looked tricky. Like there was guys that obviously I know how good they sail, but you were kind of watching them on certain waves, and it was like something looks tricky. Like what is that? What is the trick? Is it the water's moving or the wave is like it's not so easy to tell on the live stream sometimes.
It's quite an unpredictable. It's like it's not breaking behind rock really like a point break all the time. Sometimes you're getting ones that will do the whole point break thing. Sometimes you get one that will give you an air section right in front of the rocks. Sometimes that air section is bounced. There's a lot of waves that do that, where it like bounces up and down before you get it. And then sometimes the section's just way down the beach. Every wave is really quite different.
It makes it. I would say it makes it a good competition wave for the external person, because sometimes, like you said, actually, Topicama, it's probably an amazing free sailing wave, but sometimes when it's too good, like it ends up like a wave pool. And when you've watched the wave pool from surfing, it's like, because you get exactly the same. Whereas actually Matanzas, because it's got that element, I think, which is a little bit unpredictable. And it makes it for an exciting competition. Now, if you're a competitor, you're not going to agree with that. I totally get it. But sometimes from the outside, I like that little bit of, it gives a bit of drama. It's not, like I say, is it ideal? No, but I think it can make it super exciting, which leads me on to the next question, which is who's been looking good in Topicama and who's been looking good in Matanzas? Is there different riders on that list?
Well, I was saying to Finn the other day, and I think quite interesting, like when you go to Topicama, it's like I think everyone's just ripping because it's quite an easy wave to kind of read. And all the kind of world tour guys who go to all the events, as well as the locals, like everyone looks like they're ripping. When you come to Matanzas, it's like you can kind of see the locals compared to the people who haven't sailed here a lot, or the people sail at the spot a lot compared to the others.
Yeah.
And they might be really good riders, but sometimes the wave can make you, look a bit silly sometimes. I mean, if you don't get the first section right, you've ruined the rest of the wave. So the locals or the people who've sailed here a lot have a big advantage, I would say.
It's interesting. We're seeing quite often, you see people who on a PWA scale, like a worldwide scale, aren't as good as sailors as some as the PWA guys, but out here they're much better. And like even how they're reading the waves, how they're sailing the waves, they're much better. So like I think that local knowledge they're always on the best waves. And it's like even a day when there's not many waves coming in, you'll see like the two Fabres brothers just picking off really good waves, and you're like,
I mean, that's good. That's kind of what you want as a neutral on the outside looking in. Equipment. Do you need custom equipment, or is some gear working better than others? Again, this is just me going on what I saw last year from an outside's perspective, sitting at home. I felt like some people's gear was working better than others. So is that a local thing where they've managed to get their gear working, or is it just local knowledge and understanding the conditions?
Quite a lot of the locals here do have customs, it seems. There is quite a few productions, but the top guys are generally on customs.
And what are they? But it's not like a Hookeeper wave. You're not going to use your Hookeeper board here, or are you? I don't know. Is it that type of thing?
I think it's close to I mean, I think Victor has a Hookeeper style board, and Brow, I think last year said he had his Hookeeper board.
Yeah. And then quite a lot of the customs that's talking about are Maui customs, and even maybe not a brand new one custom built to them, but they're buying a Brow, or like I saw someone was on Paul's Hookeeper custom recently.
Okay, interesting.
Mm.
Well, okay, that's cool.
I think, I mean, Victor's board had a bit more like tail kick than like what the production. So you kind of need that extra, because it's such a steep wave. You kind of want a little bit more.
Yeah, than your average wave.
You want. Yeah, pretty much.
And then also what actually makes it tricky is, so we're talking about the wave being like this. To actually get the wave, you're sailing in like quite difficult howling cross onshore sailing, like bumpy, choppy, really fast, and like your sail is stacked. So it's like, you know, sometimes those boards that are very wavy don't really like having much power.
Yeah,
it's then quite unusual because you go out back and sail around to the island in and out, and you're stacked.
okay. And then there's less wind as you come to that inside bit. And is that less wind because there's physically less wind, or because the water's moving?
I think it's because, well, probably a combination of both, but
Okay.
definitely the water's moving a lot.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
it was really easy last year to get stuck. I saw so many times where the misread, or the common misread, again, easy looking at home, it looked like people were just going too slow or wasn't getting a move on, and then you get stuck behind that section, and then it just looked like game over. See you later.
Yeah, I think like moving on to the conditions you might get in the contest, I think it might be quite a bit smaller than what we've had. I mean, you never know here, but I think it looks like that. And I think when it's smaller, you get a bit less water moving, and it might be a bit kind of feel like you got a bit more power on the wave. So that is the thing. Like when we're talking about who's looking good, we've had it like pretty good solid swell, and for the contest it might be a bit smaller, so it might change how people look out there for sure. I found this post yesterday. I'll send it to Paul, who's in charge. Paul, on the
yeah, you can send it to me.
I'll send it to you. It was similar to, you know how the Surfline give that surf forecast for the events. Someone gave one of those for the Chile event, which would be pretty interesting, I think, to share on.
Okay.
You sending it to me on WhatsApp or
Instagram?
Okay. Go, give me a second.
Yeah. It's a bit of a read, but it's interesting. It goes like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way to the weekend, and then the following. And it's kind of saying that this week, wind looks a bit light and swells pretty small. Again, as Lucas said, we've had days where it says it's small and it's not. And then it kind of says Saturday, Sunday look big again and good, like windy.
So it's a long waiting period, isn't it? It's quite long. How long? 2 weeks. Yeah. So that's cool. I mean, that's really good. I remember watching again the competition last year. I thought, God, you guys got really lucky because you did so much, but it was pretty much conditions every day, wasn't it? It was crazy. So is it the same amount of people this year to fit in? Is there a trials? Are you boys in the trials? Are you in the main event? How's it all looking? Or do you not know yet?
We don't really know.
Okay.
We're presuming we're in the trials, but I think this year there's a slight change on. They're not doing any amateur fleets this year, which they did last year. Okay. So there's none of those. There's way more pros.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I was looking at the list for Chile, and there is
we're up to 57 in the men.
Yeah, 57 entered. And in the women, 17 entered, but there is a masters fleet, isn't there? 22 entered. And then there is juniors as well, which is, nearly 20 altogether. So it's still, that's a lot of heats to get through. And if they do the trials, obviously they need to do the trials before the main event, because we need to know who is going to come from the trials into the main event. And that will be interesting, again, depending on how the forecast is, because the guys in the trials, you might end up with the absolute perfect conditions, or they might try and squeeze you in before it gets to the perfect conditions. So I guess this is the only thing we're going to have to find out is how that all plays out.
Yeah, there's a lot to get through, and a lot of the days here are actually half days as well, because the wind doesn't really kick in till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Okay.
What do we want to be?
Oh, but everyone's pretty hopeful with that forecast today. And no one's worried. It's not like one of those contests where you're like, oh shit, like everyone seems pretty like, oh yeah, no worries, we're good.
I think there's a couple of days where there's definitely no wind, but I think if the wind is coming from the right direction, there's always a chance. So it's looking all right in that sense. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So it's not like a weird pattern where the wind's coming from the wrong, because that's what you don't want. It's like Cape Town, most of the spots. If it's from the right direction, there's always a chance. Okay.
What did you want to just talk us through this attachment?
It's just, maybe it's an interesting one for anyone at home who's really keen on checking, because I had a few messages, people asking what's the forecast, and this gives you a nice rundown, quite more in better words than I can explain it as well.
Where's the pretty stars?
Yeah, of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and like all the days. It sums it up very well.
Yeah.
Next slide, is it?
The next one. Yeah.
Yeah. So see, like this is going Monday, Tuesday, and then it basically says that at the moment the best days, the biggest and the windiest, is Sunday. I think Sunday, Monday, and maybe Saturday.
Okay, so we're going to have quite a good build up to this. So moving on with the forecast looking like that, looks like we're going to have some action. Who's looking good at Matanzas? Who so far has been a standout for you guys? And not to say they're going to win the competition, but just free sailing, looking out there. Who are you going? Ooh, who's getting the most oohs and the ahs and the consistent sailing?
We'll go one for one. I'll name one, then Lucas names one. For me, so far, Mr. Consistent, and like big, small, when it's been windy, when it's been not windy, onshore, offshore. Morgan's looked very consistent, and like also consistent might be doing it not a favor. He's been fantastic. He looks really good, but he's also
he was second last. Was he second last year? That's correct. Is he second? He was second.
Yeah, he got to the final.
He's been getting like every good wave, and I mean that 360 we saw last year. He's been doing a few of them. Like I think even like on the big day, he did an even bigger one.
Wow, that's cool.
That's interesting because that, in theory, is not his regular tack. Like I know the top guys, they don't have. You shouldn't say one tack or the other, but I mean Morgan's from Hawaii, Maui, Hukipa, which is the opposite way to Chile, and he's been putting the work in on this tack. And yes, it is just wave riding; it's not jumping. But still, I think Morgan, for me, is one of the guys that's been putting a lot of work in. I mean, they all want it, but he definitely is really focused. And it's interesting. He's the first name out the hat. That's interesting. Nice.
He seems to be just one of the like Mr. Consistent here. He's very tidy. As Lucas says, he's always on the best waves, and he's riding them well. And then he's also got that X factor of like
got a few stunts.
360s.
Yeah, nice. Okay, who else?
My second one, which again, like kind of what Finn said with Morgan in everything, he's been solid and he's been ripping, like, because it's kind of hard to rip this wave, like do good turns and stuff. And for me, like Mark Paré was sailing it very, very well. Obviously, as we said again, has experience here.
Yeah, I spoke to Mark the other day, and he said he felt really comfortable on the wave. He said it just feels like one of my places.
Yeah, he looks.
Yeah, he looks, and like he's had some good crashes on just comfortable. There's sections where you're going like, no, he won't do that, and he's giving it like some he's making and some he's not making, and like we saw one yesterday that resulted in a couple of days ago. That resulted in like a 10-minute swim for his gear, and like he was in a rip. It looked pretty gnarly, but he had no problem just going for it. It was pretty good.
Because I know he obviously missed the event last year. It was absolutely gutted to miss this event. And I know when I was speaking to him, he was talking about the 360 from Morgan last year. And he was like, I don't know why is there not more people doing them? He says that's the section. He's like, that's what he loves to hit, that section. And that section was pretty meaty.
Funny enough, like this year, everyone's like, there's way more moves going down this year. Like last year, there wasn't much going on, but this year, I feel like either everyone's a bit more confident with the spot, or maybe they saw, you know, what Morgan did and were like, right, we got to step it up. But there's been a lot more like air attackers and goiters and stuff like that. So
yeah,
the level again, I think.
Yeah. Moritz Malk with the comment says Mark, Morgan, and Brow. It's not a bad trio, and it actually goes with what you two boys just said. I think he said that before you boys said it as well. So there's obviously a common theme. Is Brow in the running?
Yeah, of course. He's arrived quite late, so why he's probably not top of our minds is I think we have only seen him with 1 day sailing.
Okay.
Or maybe 2. But so like the others, Mark and Morgan, we've been sailing with them for quite a while now. Brow arrived, I think his first day was that big day.
Okay, straight into it.
Yeah, he's looking good. He's looking good, and yeah, he's hitting some pretty good sections and looking fast.
What about Batiste? Is he sailing okay out there, or?
He arrived a few days ago. It might have even been on the big day, or maybe the day before that. But he went out. I think he had on his he got stitches on his head like the day before he took a flight or something. So he was out there with a helmet, and he was absolutely like sending it, like every section the latest possible he could go. And I think everyone was going, okay, how does he do it? How does he like
not get hurt?
Yeah, and then I think he got hurt basically.
Oh, okay.
Really? Oh, really?
I don't want to say anything because
I
don't know how he is at the moment. I think he wants to try and compete, but I think he's kind of re-injured the injury that he had.
He is a bit of a hell man, isn't he, Baptiste? He just
there was this one section I saw which would be like considered a late under the lip aerial, like bottom turn under the lip, and he did like this really epic goiter, but it was like not one of the ones where you're bombing down the line and then goiter. It was like bottom turn, full nasty section, and goiter, and it was like pretty scary. Like you probably saw those photos of Malene.
I saw him, and I was thinking, my God, he, like you say, he looks like he's under lip. I always remember Traversa from Cape Verde. Did you see that Traversa video the other day? There's one like goiter 360 thing, which I actually don't know what it is. Have you seen that video?
I haven't seen it.
We're gonna have to find it because it's like he hits it at this angle where it could be a goiter and it could be a 360. I don't know if anyone else has seen that. Let me know in the comments, or is it just me playing games with my brain? But I remember what I was watching. I was like, what? It was like there was a move they used to call, was it the Proverso or something like that? Was it some weird? Anyway, but yeah.
Is this the video where it's with the huge waves, or is this?
Yeah,
more
no, it was like it was Peniche, like Super Tubes or something, was it, or somewhere like that?
Oh, okay, not the one with the
recent one. Whatever the recent video on the Saru's website.
Yeah, okay. I'll have a quick look for it.
It's worth looking at because I was going to put it on the channel. I forgot to put it in Send It Sunday and go, what is it? I'd like to know your thoughts. It might be quite interesting.
Yeah. Next one for me, I see Moritz has commented it. When it gets big, Titoon. He's been here pretty much the whole time we've been here, and he's looking good. He's similar to Baptiste. He's not afraid.
Have you seen that video? I think his camera guy put out there a bit ago with him just absolutely having it a who keeper. Like it was more just like a shred it kind of edit. It was just fucking bonkers. I love that video. But he's obviously got new. No, I don't think it was this video.
This is the newest one.
Oh, maybe it was. Oh yeah, it was. I was going to say he was going that way. He was definitely going that way. But maybe I'm thinking of a different video. So Titoon on Goya now as well. Goya Quattro. Interesting.
He's looking good on the new boards. Like he's looking smooth, and like it was pretty cool. He's getting a lot of pivot, and like going full 12 o'clock on some of these sections, which a lot of the time it would be easier just to do an aerial when it's like that bowly section. And like you can see those boards are working really nice for him to pivot and fully go 12 and just like tag it. It's been pretty cool.
What we want to see is how are the judges going to score? Because this is going to be the big thing. From what I can understand from you guys, if Mark's taking a 10-minute swim when it goes wrong, the risk is obviously right up there. And Baptiste as well. You know, like when you're going late and going crazy, it's going to be interesting to see how many more points you get in for that. Or are we going to see Steady Eddies doing better because there's less risk? And obviously, if you let it all hang out and you make it, they're the ones that can cause the upsets. So you want to get rewarded, I think, if you are risking it, let's say, because you want to see guys like Baptiste who are risking it. When it comes off, it needs to pay big time. Otherwise, you're going to like it kind of pulls everyone back a bit because they go, well, I'm not even scoring that much when you're really risking it. So that'll be interesting.
I think, like, as we were saying, like our kind of two top picks, that's kind of only for the reason of like consistency, talking about like going for it. I think there's like a huge group of guys, any of them could win, like Tatoon or Burnt. And we've seen them get like maybe the best waves. Yeah. But like it's sometimes they're going huge and sometimes they're crashing it and sometimes they're like stomping it. So any one of those people, if they make two like amazing waves, they could easily win.
And to be fair,
Burnt got like an incredible wave on the big day. Yeah. Like literally like the most critical wave I've ever seen. Like as close to the lip as you could get on like a mast and a half high bomb. So it's hard to.
That's impressive.
To know.
Yeah, it was interesting actually. That one I was going to mention, the Burnt one as well. It wasn't the flashiest because it didn't have the Wave 360, didn't have attack or like any of the moves, but it was the most surfy. But it was only 2 hits, and I think it's probably the best wave I've seen all since we've been here. It would in my book it would have been a 10. It was we all, us two and Tobias were watching it, and we were just like, oh my god. Like he was fully first turn, like super surfy on hit the lip. And then the next one was super late and like big floating out aerial, but like underneath it.
Wow. That's impressive.
I mean,
is there any video of it or?
Not from me. I mean, I didn't film it.
I'll go search.
I was going to say, the thing is, like with Burnt, he seems to be able to deliver when he needs to deliver. Like, he's obviously good in freestyling, but somehow in competition, nothing seems to hold him back. He always goes for it, you know, which again, be interesting to see. And for people who don't know, he's actually leading the world rankings at the moment because there's a rolling world rankings. So I'm guessing this is before Cape Verde from last year. So he's counting that. Was that last
it's
year?
A full year, I think.
I don't think it's counting the Cape Verde one anymore.
That was before now. Okay. So but he's leading the world ranking, which is pretty mad.
I think what's scary is, I don't know if it was you or someone said that last year he wasn't really in the flow, and I think someone said like this year he's like kind of really feeling it, which is kind of a scary thing I think for everyone else. Yeah, because once you get in that flow, it's pretty hard to stop.
It was. I spoke to him on the beach. It was after that wave I spoke about. I went over. I was like, I was pretty nuts. And he was saying that last year he didn't feel in the rhythm with it. He just didn't link with it. And he said he had a few ones that day where he was able to read it a bit better and felt in the flow. It's quite him, I think.
I want to give a mention also to Victor because we're staying with him. And funny, that day where Burnt did that big wave, like amazing wave, I think he got that one wave in about half an hour, 40 minutes. And Victor went out and got 2 like flipping amazing, like right from the point all the way to the beach with a 360 in the middle. And that's where like Victor comes into his game, where super consistent, knows the spot well, you know, been competing for 20 years, and he will win heats like that by, you know, just being smart.
Yeah.
You know, and he says it a lot here. You know, he's probably not going to hit like a mile and a half high section at the first 5 minutes of the heat, because he knows that if he doesn't make that, he's ruining the heat. So he's really smart in that sense. And in that, if that was a heat that we were watching the other day, he would have beat Burnt. So
even though Burnt had a 10.
Yeah. I mean, look at his consistency last year. It was crazy. I mean, that's why he was right up there.
Yeah, he doesn't look any different this year on that sense.
Yeah.
And you'd kick us out of the house if we didn't say this.
Yeah. Well, those points, Benny, that's obviously from last year, but what's the...
Well, it's a rolling ranking, so it's 12 months from now through to last year, I guess.
Oh, is it?
As far as I understand.
Oh, I see.
So it's a little bit a different way of doing it. I quite like it. They used to do it. I don't know if they still do it with the tennis tour. I quite like that rolling ranking. You know, there'll be plus points and other points, because then if you have a really good start to this year and maybe last year you didn't do well, you might be down on the rolling ranking, which would be unfortunate, because you'd be leading the tour. So I don't know how it's going to happen. This is on the, what do we call it now? Is it IWT or WWT?
I think WWT is, the collective of the two, I think.
Okay, so this is on the IWT website. And I looked on the PWA site, but there's no update on that. And obviously, for people who don't know, there has been a lot of internal shifting going on at the PWA, because Rich Page is obviously no longer working as the tour manager, and there is someone new in there, which I guess is a whole new talking point. But so there has been a bit of a changeover, and I guess we'll have to wait for a few things to get ironed out before it. Because again, we still got the IWT and the PWA kind of running separate events, even though it is joined together as a single tour. So this is an IWT in theory event. So more the information will come from that side, and then the PWA side, I guess, like Guadalupe is going on slalom, all the information will come from that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. I think I could be wrong here, but I think the rolling ranking is just going to be used more so for event entries. So like to see who's in that top 24. Like for this event, in the rolling ranking to get to 24, which should be the ones seeded straight into the event. And then from 24 to 57 competitors will be theoretically in the challenges.
Okay, so Kai Lenny's not in. Alex Vargas outside, but I'm sure he doesn't get a wild card or something.
Is Alex Vargas? Yeah, I was going to say, is he injured? I saw an Insta post and he's hobbling with crutches, huh?
Yeah, he's been behind the lens a bit. He's got a big boot on. I
think he did the list rank, like what Mark did.
So he's not sailing, which is that's quite a blow for him and for the local Chilean representative, because last year he was really impressive.
Yeah, that is a shame, actually.
Just a point on the PWA stuff. I think like what's different this year, or a change from last year, they've got two of the PWA judges that do all the PWA events. So Pick is here and Emil.
Okay.
So I think that's a good step forward in trying to integrate the two together, and having two super experienced judges here is only a good thing in my eyes.
Yeah, I think so. Just the consistency makes a big difference. And from what I've seen, when we get more inexperienced judging, the scores seem to get very close, because they're maybe a bit scared to give too low or too high. And then everything ends up within a point or something. And then nothing really makes the difference. And then sometimes what makes the difference shouldn't make the difference. And that's, then when you look at the scores, you're like, oh, there's nothing crazy out, because everything's so close. So I think that, again, I'm looking forward to watching the event, but there is a live stream, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we should. I think there should be a live stream for every day. We haven't heard anything other than that.
Who's commentating? Is Kai over there?
We haven't seen you here.
I'm not a guy.
We haven't seen Kai.
Okay. Maybe they.
So we're not sure yet. Maybe Kai.
Maybe you'll get called up, Benny.
Last minute.
VIP. What about
We're having
Costa?
babies, so I can't.
Oh yeah, true. Rasmus is asking where's Costa. Is Costa not there? Oh no, he is there, isn't he? Or not?
We haven't seen Costa. I mean, sailing. We haven't seen Costa, Camille, Robbie, Swift. We haven't seen. So there's quite a few people that have just. Thomas Traversa was here, but he's been sailing at a different spot. So there's quite a few guys that we haven't really seen.
Okay. I saw a photo on Instagram from Costa the other day. I could have sworn it was from Chile, but maybe it was from last year, or I don't know. Yeah,
He's probably there, but maybe he's hiding.
He could be sailing top of Gama by himself.
Yeah. What about the ladies? How are the ladies going on?
He's looking good on that side. First one that comes to my head is Lisa. Lisa Wermeister on the duotone. The reason I say that is the other night I was filming Victor, and Lisa kept getting wave after. This was one of the big days. Lisa kept getting wave after wave after wave. She was sailing well, good approach, and getting some airs. She was sailing really well.
Sick. Oh, Benny, could you just update the could you show us the women rolling rankings while we're talking about them?
That was the plan actually, but
sorry, Lucas. You going, mate?
Button, and I don't know where they are now. Oh, here they are. Oh, here they are, down here.
Like on land and on water, I don't know how they're doing it, but it seems like the girls are always getting the best waves. I don't know if they're like, it's like a different mentality to what we have. They're maybe a bit more calm and like wait. I don't know, but every time I see it's like Sol's always on a good wave, Elisa's always on a good wave, Maria is always on a good wave, and then those are kind of the main three that I don't know that I've seen. The other girls have turned up really late, so
like when we look at this list, Sarah we have seen on the water. She's had maybe 2 days on the water, and the other ones it's Sarah's first time here, I think. So that will be interesting to see how she gets on.
Sarah Howes is injured, isn't she? Is that what I heard?
I'm not sure. She's not here, and she's not signed up, so most likely. And then like the likes of Lena, Alexia, Coco, we haven't seen them. Well, us two, we haven't seen them on the water. Sol, on the other hand, is the first on the water every single day. I think she's staying at the Sarasa Hotel, so she's right in front, and she probably planes much earlier than us. So she's every day she's first on the water. It's pretty cool.
She's going to be one to watch for sure. I mean, Alexia as well. I mean, but obviously she's there last year, but she's not had much practice this year. But she looked really good. I mean, she was unfortunate not to get her first win, I thought, last year. Well, not unfortunate, but it was looking like she had it, and then that Lena with the last sort of wave took it.
Yeah, I think I'd bet that she'd do well. We haven't seen her at all, but from what she did last year, she's sailing really good. And Lena, obviously, the event winner from last year. But haven't seen herself.
Yeah, I was sailing quite a bit with Lena in Cape Town when Dieter was doing our camp, and sailing well. So quite a lot of port type practice there. And she's sailing well in the waves. So it'll be interesting to see how that transfers over to here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? We can talk about it all we like, but until that competition starts, you see the heat draws as well. And then, like you said, the consistent ones, in theory, one of the consistent ones will probably win. But if someone, has a stormer of a heat, they can take down some of the big names that are being relatively consistent, because there's a lot more pressure on those guys. So, and I know, at different levels, when you're one of the better ones in the competition, there's part of you that doesn't want to push too hard in case you lose your gear and you end up swimming and lose that way. So then you can sometimes hold back too much. And this is also a dangerous way to sail. Again, are the top guys in the world going to be like that? I don't know. But it's always dangerous when you've got someone like Baptiste, for example, who maybe is not up there in the world rankings, and he doesn't have that hold back kind of attitude. He just doesn't have it. And they are some of the most dangerous people to have, because if he has the heat of heats like he can do, he's going to take you down, because he just won't hold back. So this will be an interesting sort of mental game, I think.
Yeah. It's quite funny watching the people here, it's like there's definitely two mentalities on the water. It's one, you know, when say you're approaching the lip, you get the people who are like, I'm 90% sure I'm going to land this, so I'm going to go for it. Otherwise, I'm not. And other people are like 50-50, whatever.
Okay.
Let's just go for it. So it's really quite, and you can see it. It's quite fun to see.
When do you think the heat draws will actually be made?
Hopefully today, because
Okay.
today we've got the registration this afternoon in 2 hours. So hopefully after that we'll get our heats, which like it's unusual. Last year we had, maybe this is more the PWA coming on board. Last year we had our heat draws like a week in advance almost.
Okay.
But hopefully that comes in today.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm gonna find this video from Thomas Traversa. So talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna find it because it's worthwhile.
Yeah, you go find a bit. There's a question here, guys, from Malcolm Scott. He says, I think I heard they have 5 judges with the top and bottom scores not counted. Can you confirm this?
Yeah, I've seen that in the chat, which is similar. That's how the WSL runs. So highest and lowest are removed, and then it's the average of the 3 in the middle.
Yeah.
That is the same as the PWA. Like I think in the PWA, I think they times the scores and then take out the top and the bottom, times them by 2.
Yeah.
Everyone doubles up, and then they take out the bottom 2 or something.
Is that what they're going to do? Is it or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's what I've heard.
All right, sweet. And actually, just something else for anyone who's thinking of going to Chile. What's the what can you expect with the costs? I mean, it looks like most of the sailors stay in pretty nice wooden sort of cabins, and you know, like what's the prices there to stay, and food, and just the daily expenses and stuff.
I think you can. Depends which way you want to go. You could go expensive and very fancy. There's some beautiful places here, or you can actually do. I'm talking accommodation now. You could do pretty cheap. I think like last night we actually went for sushi with Takuma and Rio, and they had this like little space pod. It was pretty cool, but it was quite small and cheap. And I think they're paying, I think for the month it was $500 each.
Oh, for a month.
Am I right?
Oh, okay.
I think that's what they said. Yeah,
I think that's what it was. Or you could also go and stay you could stay at Sarasso in the fancy hotel and spend a bit more. You could do that on the cheaper side, but that $500 a month for 2 people, that's probably about as cheap as you'd ever find here, I think.
Yeah.
The truck, I like to think that you'd want a 4x4 here, I think. Which this year we got a truck from one of Victor's friends, but last year I think we were paying. Well, Victor got us a discount, but it was something like
it was like 900.
That was
normal.
That was the discount.
Probably 900. No,
US?
That was the discount.
I don't know now.
Yeah, I think the full price was like 2.5. It was quite expensive, the rental, but thankfully Victor helped us out. And then the food shopping is quite expensive. Like a few days ago, we went for a shop, so we're just buying for the 3 of us all together, and I spent, I think it was 85 in the food in the supermarket, and then which doesn't include your fruit and veg, so that's because that's a separate store. Then that was 35. That's kind of like a week,
okay.
a week shopping.
Yeah, and then you got the flights, which I feel like for everyone the flight's quite expensive because Chile's just far away from everywhere. So I think I actually got it a little bit cheaper this year, but it was still, I think, including bags, everything from London, it was 1,400 return.
Yeah. Now, hats off to all you sailors. I mean, I know you made a video the other day, Lucas, about the realities of, being a pro windsurfer. But I actually think about this sometimes, that when I'm watching a live stream and I see all you guys and women at these events, I think, well, they've had to pile in a fair bit of their own cash just to entertain us, Basically, I mean, it's so hats off to all you guys for making that effort. Good on you. Yeah, cool.
It's because we were actually saying, like, I think if I was like, I'm in love with Chile. I think it's an amazing place. But if I were to come, it'd be quite nice to not come when the event is, because I feel it's like the sailing is so busy. So it's not like we're on holiday, because the sailing it's hectic, and it's like a motorway out there battling for waves.
Yeah,
which is it's not a holiday in that sense.
Yeah.
But no,
When would you come after going now? When would you come? Let's say you're coming on holiday. What time of year?
I would go. I've been coming in like November, December time.
Okay.
I think definitely don't come in January, February, which is high summer, and it gets too hot, and it's like the fog that we're talking about. That's like around a lot, which there's no wind. So I think either side of the summer is good.
And I think for me, with the sense that I'm happy surfing as much as sailing, I would come this time of year, just maybe not when the event's on. Because I think if you come before Christmas, it's windier, but possibly less swell. Whereas this time of year, possibly less wind, but more swell.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I found it.
You found it. It was a Facebook video.
Yeah, Saru's Facebook video.
Oh.
But, check it out. See if you can see what I'm on about.
Jesus, that was just a good.
Oh, I remember this. Actually, it's going to be the upside down one.
Oh.
What is that? What is that?
Yeah.
Is that the one? I can't.
That's
pretty sick, isn't it?
Like, if you look at it, like you think it's a 360. I thought it was like a downwind 360, but then you look at it like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It like looks like a goiter. But if I look at it like with a different head on, it looks like a 360.
Yeah, true.
Because he goes fully upside down.
Yeah, it's like a vertical goiter or something, isn't it?
On that point, actually, I remember seeing.
Oh yeah, it's weird, isn't it? You're right.
Gail did like a full-on goiter, like with the lip, the other day, which was really impressive. Because, as I said, talking about like the moves, a lot of people have been going for moves, and there's been a few what do you call like more like punches on the shoulders. But Miguel, I saw do a proper goiter, like, you know, I don't know if it was inverted as that, but off a set. And the sections here are not like for the faint-hearted at all. So I really hope the judges are going to make a big difference between the more freestyle-y moves and like the moves off the lip, because it's really impressive.
And turns as well, like the late hits versus the spray turns versus like it's so difficult, isn't it? I really would hate to be a judge. You've got to be quite flexible as well, because there's also a flow to a wave and not just a one hit, but a one hit can also be good. And, you know, like and you've got to make the decision in the moment. You don't get the chance to see it on a camera. It is pretty tough. Like I'll stick up from a bit there, because it is really tough. And it's not just, you're not just tuning in for one heat, then getting your dinner and coming back and having a look. You're like the whole day, like ding, 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 and it's pretty funky, isn't it? It's pretty mad.
It's cool actually. Here we've got a pretty epic judging, cool judging setup. So right in the middle of the beach, excuse me, right in the middle of the beach, they've like a 2-story tower. You might have seen it in some of the photos, and so they're pretty much identically right in front of the wave, and it's good seating for them.
I think what I would like to see from a spectator's point of view, or like me as a wave sailor, knowing what's hard and what's not, like almost like the amount of like bottom to top turn, I'd like to see rewarded rather than going kind of S turning. And like same with the aerials, you could do a kind of high line aerial, or you could come right in front. And that's what I'm hoping they're really going to reward. Same with all the moves, like doing like a little Waimaru 360 compared to like figure of 8 kind of.
Again, depends on what the wave's offering, and if you choose to go super vert and then you miss the rest of the wave, like that's obviously a bad read, even though it's better. You know, like if there's good stuff to be had, if it's just S turning down the wave, okay, you're not missing anything. But if there's other sections and by doing it you miss the other section, it depends how big and gnarly it is. But if you've got to read the wave, I think it is tricky. Like I said, I would hate to be a judge.
I think we would prefer seeing like what we saw Burnt do the other day, like 2 like amazing hits rather than just like, you know,
Yeah. I mean, you've got to have something of note. You've got to have something that changes everything. If you're just, like I've seen it before where people pick up a big wave and they just ride it, and you're like, well, there's no risk. So it's for me, it's all about risk. Like how much risk you put on the line, because that's actually how many points you're getting. If you're not taking any risk, and even if it's a big open face turn, but it's a really nice, easy set, you're like, well, there's no risk. It might be good, and it might look cool, but it's still no risk. Risk surely has to be rewarded.
Yeah, and at a wave like here, where there's so much opportunity to risk it.
Yeah.
Like it's not as if you're not going to get that opportunity here. Each wave's going to give you if you get the right one, it's going to give you 2 or 3 chances to risk it.
Yeah. Okay then. Oh, go on.
Oh no, I was going to say that there's no chance of an event ever happening at Topacama, right? It's just always at Matanzas, because I know in years gone by, sometimes they would shift the event to Topacama, but that's not happening.
I think we're pretty much set here in Matanzas. I remember last year there was a little bit of talk for like an expression session down there. Oh, yeah. But I think we're pretty much set up to run here. Everything's here, the hotel, all the staff, everything is all right in front.
The infrastructure is all here.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty much set up here. And as we said earlier it's Ben said it earlier in the talk, I think as for a competition site, here's probably better. It's trickier sailing, much trickier sailing, but for competition, it's probably a better place.
It's an amazing venue just to watch.
It looks sick.
Fun. You can sit down or on the beach or wherever. It's just, I mean, I've never been to Hookkeeper. That seems like a really cool spot on Hookkeeper, but I think talking to some of the guys that have been there, it's on that kind of level of literally sit down and like 100 meters away, you got Master reading waves. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's a similar feeling as that.
Sick. Okay, reputations on the line. Give me some top 3s, men and women. Bomb. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Can we just give a bit of a caveat or whatever? We know everyone can do well. This is not this top 3 is not saying that the other guys who don't make the top 3 can't make the top 3. Of course they can, but somebody has to be in the top 3. And if we're going to make a prediction, we just got to make a prediction. That's it. So like, if you're not in the prediction, they'll be like, oh, he didn't like me anymore. It's just, this is like gut feeling, a bit of luck, a bit of everything. Maybe we think it's your time, or these guys think it's your time, whatever. That's it. You're welcome to make your own predictions in the comments. In fact, Mikkel Asmussen is starting us off. He's gone Mark Paré, Bernd Rodiger, and
is this in order, like first top 3?
Well, you can give us a top 3. If you make the top 3 anyway, I'd be impressed. But you may as well put a number on it. Yeah.
I'm going to go.
You can have a joint top 3 if you want.
I'm going to go for more than Mark and Brow. It's boring, but that's what I'm going for.
Well, they were your picks for who has been sailing.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think Morgan and Mark, I have them set in there. Number 3. Or maybe not number 3, but 3rd in the list that's the tricky one. I think Brow's a pretty safe bet there. That's a good shout. Actually, we haven't mentioned him from Martin here. Julian's been sailing very well. Good surfy style and going really late with that surfy style. He's not doing too many of like the flyaway straight down the line aerials. He's really surfing it. So actually, he should have got a shout out early on being impressive. But yeah, who am I going to throw in number 3? I think Brown.
Okay.
And then in the ladies, this is a bit tricky as we haven't seen much of them. I think he said Alexia could be in there.
I think I might put Alexia, Lena, just going off last year and then going off what we've seen, maybe Lisa.
Yeah, actually, I would agree. I'd put the wild card in there as Lisa.
But then again, and like we haven't seen Camille or Costa, so you never know. They might just turn up, and it's so hard. But from what we've seen, what we know,
but that's cool. Like I said, for me, you guys have been there, and again, I know what it's like because I've been to these competitions. You don't see everyone sailing. Some people like Traversa or whatever turns up the day before, and then suddenly he's smacking everything, and you're like, well, didn't see that coming. Or Baker back in the day, you're like, there's no chance. He's got no chance of top 3. At the end of the event, Baker's up there in the top 3, and you're like, okay, it's like that's competition. That's why it is interesting. It's not a foregone conclusion. There's so many different variables and so many different things that can happen. And especially when you look at, I've never been to Matanzas, but just looking at the wave, looking at the pictures, looking at the video, listening to you guys, it sounds like there could be upsets if somebody could string 2 waves together, which is not beyond the realms of possibility. I think one decent crazy wave, definitely. To put 2 together in a heat, it looked hard last year. It did. It looked tricky.
As I said, I think there's like 10 people who can.
Yeah, tricky.
There's
what about you, Benny?
Well, I'll be honest. I'm going to go with what the boys said. I think, we're not there. We haven't seen it. It's very, very difficult because from what I saw last year, it looked tricky. And I think the locals kind of show that their level is higher than what they probably would be because it's their home spot, which means you've got to know the spot. So after speaking to Mark, obviously he's a similar style team rider, but like after speaking to him, he seemed like he had that energy that he felt good there, which I think is always a good sign. I've been there when I've had good competitions, and just some places you just feel good. And it doesn't mean you're sailing, better than you sail other places, but you just feel comfortable in the spot because the spot looks tricky. So I think I would definitely have him in the top 3. And then, like you say, when you start going into it, I've done it so many times, you start mentioning names and then you look at the list, you're like, oh my God, I didn't mention him. Oh, I didn't mention him. And they're like, I mean, Morgan's not a surprise for me, but in a port tack down the line spot, it's really interesting that he's been out. And I've been watching his videos and I feel like he's been really improving over the years on this tack. And last year he was kind of standout when I didn't think he would be a standout, if I'm honest. So that was quite interesting. And he looks hungry. So, like I said, I'm pretty much, I could take some wild cards, which would be just stabbing the darks. But I'm going to go with what the boys are saying. I think it sounds reasonable, but I think we'll get some upsets. They're the solid picks. And then we should have some wild cards that could cause an upset, I think.
I mean, it was so easily someone could lose their kit all the way down the beach, and that's it. So it's we saw Brow in Fiji, like first wave, wasn't it?
Easy. One wave, bang, gone, done, finished. And like you said, what did you say? Mark lost his gear for 10 minutes. That happens in a heat. That's it. You're downwind. You're not getting back upwind. You literally. That's it. You're done. Like I didn't see what happened to Bernd Rodiger in Puerto Rico, but I'm guessing something happened to him because he lost really early. And when I see him sailing in comps, he doesn't hold back. And it could be that he just went for his moves and they didn't come off. And sometimes you can be sailing really good all the way through, and then you get to your heat and you just don't have a good heat. That's it. It's like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever the heats are over there, 10 minutes, I don't know. If you don't have a good heat, that's it. You could be the best guy on the beach. You could have everything, but if you don't have a good heat, see you later.
And there's been times where sets are 10, 15 minutes in between. Two-wave sets. Sometimes even the sets have been one waves. If you don't get that set, yes, say the most consistent sailor of the week.
Yeah.
But your 2 opponents just got the set, and that's kind of tricky to beat then.
I think what we should do is really wait for the draw to come out. Hopefully that draw will be out soon, and we might have to revisit this because obviously depending on who's on which side of the draw, and sometimes there are easier run-ins on paper. Not to say that in real life, but usually on paper you're like, ooh, that looks a good one. And then it turns out that one of the guys who you thought might be an easy picking just has an absolute stormer and just, comes through the draw. So that'll be interesting. Any names you're thinking, Mr. Van Bellen?
Peter Kenyon for the win. I don't know. Do you guys Have you guys met Peter yet, Finn and Lucas?
Yeah, we met that gang the other day.
Oh, yeah, no. For anybody out there, I'm only just saying that because Peter's from Geraldton, where I am. But no, I think I'll go with Morgan as one. I couldn't tell you who's going to be 1, 2, and 3, but I think Morgan from last year's performance and from what these guys have said. Brasinho, I mean, you have to put him in there because he's so consistent. And yeah, the third one's tough because there's so many. I mean, I don't know. I was going to thinking Mark Perret, but I don't know. It's so hard. I mean, yeah, I know because it's the obvious ones, isn't it? I mean, I could go with a limb. I mean, Julian Salmon. He was in WA for summer, so he was riding plenty of port tack. So I'm actually curious if that gives him a bit of an advantage, or something that maybe other sailors haven't been sailing as much. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll put my I'll say the wild card is the Batiste. If he goes nuts and pulls something out of the bag. And then the women, actually for the women, I'm actually kind of really interested in the
Sol.
So no, actually with Sols obviously, but Lena, Alexia, Lena, and the Sol, but Sarah is actually Sarah Kenyon. I'm really curious to see how she goes because she's a young girl. I think she's 15, 16, maybe a similar age to Sol, but she's from Geraldton. But she charges. I've seen her sail some pretty solid waves, and she has no fear. So I'm actually curious to see how she goes. And she's a really good surfer. She's been pretty sick. She's someone that hardly anyone would have seen in a IWT PWA event. But she might just bow out round 1, or she might do some major upsets. So I'm really curious to Sarah Kenyon. Keep an eye out for her as well.
I'd say, from what I can see, you've got to have experience there. I don't think I think it seems pretty rare that someone turns up, never sailed Matanzas, and then suddenly goes, "Oh, this is easy." It didn't look like that last year. The guys who looked like they were good there had quite a lot of experience, I think.
Yeah.
And I think with the women, maybe we're going to see the girls that kind of dialed in last year or have been there a few times, kind of reconnecting with that sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And look, the thing with Sarah, the reason I'm throwing her in the mix is because over here it's all port tack and it's port tack there. So I thought maybe that goes in favor. But anyway, it's just someone to look out for anyway.
Yeah. All right, boys. I think we'll leave it there. We'll wait for the draw to come up and we'll try and catch back up with you guys at some point. We'll stop in. Maybe we'll try and get a few guys from over there as well, get some different opinions, because it sounds like you haven't got much wind for the week. So maybe there'll be a bit of floating around.
So potentially Wednesday. So tomorrow, actually, there's a potential chance we could be on then. And then same goes for Thursday, Friday, and then I think the weekend the event will be running. It looks like.
Okay. Sick.
Are they talking about a dingle system or anything like that?
Find out today.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't know.
Yeah. Well, good luck. If we don't speak to you before, because you never know, we could kick off tomorrow morning with the trials, or we'll have to wait and see. We'll wait and see. But good luck. Stay in touch. Look forward to following the progress.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, guys. Super cool. Cheers.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
All the best. Look forward to watching you guys on live stream. Be cool.
If there is one. No, there is one.
Yeah.
There is one. I'm joking. Of course there's one. All right, boys. See you in a bit. Bye.
See you later.
There we go.
Right.
So there we go. That is our little intro to Chile. 5 stars. First one of the year. Who will win the first 5-star of the year? I'm going with Pare in the men. And in the women, of course you are. In the women, I'm going with Alexia Kiefer.
Woo! All right. Okay, Mark and Alexia. I'll go with oh God. I'm gonna just play it safe. I'm gonna go with Brasinho. I'll go with Brasinho, although God, I should have said band. There's so many. It's really tough. It's
Don't think about it. Just go.
I know. Okay, Brasinho, and for the women, let's see. I'll go with Lena Erpenstein.
Solid. Okay, that's it.
Let's see how we go.
Stay tuned. If you're not subscribed to this podcast channel,
subscribe
to it. If you're not into long form content, do not subscribe. I cannot stress that enough, because all this stuff, it's very rare that it's under an hour long. So if you are into that, you can also listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all those different. I think it's on all the channels if you want to listen to it in your car and stuff. So if you're like, oh my God, I can't watch these losers every day, but I can listen to them when I'm driving, that would be fine as well. So we're going to try and keep you updated from Chile. We have got other podcasts and stuff going on. I am re-uploading some of the old podcasts just to have them all in one place. I haven't been doing a good job of actually pressing publish on them. They're all on the YouTube channel, just haven't pressed the button yet. So we're going to be doing that. And we still have got Pika coming in. It's been a while.
Oh my God,
he's probably
that poor guy. Now, as soon as this Chile event's over, we're gonna get him on, and that's assuming he wants to come on, huh?
We have got the main man from Exocet, Loft Sales, and Pro Limit, not Pro Limit. What am I on about? He's going to come on as well. He's meant to be coming on now, but I forgot. I forgot the Chile event was happening. And meanwhile, we might be popping out a baby here. So, times are pretty hectic at the moment.
When's the baby due?
Now.
What? Like, oh, really? I didn't realize.
Like in the next 2 weeks.
Ah, wow. Okay. God, that went quick, didn't it?
Yes, really quick. Trust me, really quick. And I spoke to Ezzy. Ezzy popped his baby out. Well, he didn't. His missus did 2 weeks early.
Oh, okay. Wow.
That's cool. So I've got to be red alert. I've been at the beach sailing, and then I'm like a bit too long because it's been good. And then I'm coming in. I see the phone, missed call. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay.
You're on edge, mate. Nah, cool.
Unifiber. My brain. Someone just reminded me. Unifiber, Loft, and Exocet. There we go. Sorry, brain.
Cool. No, that'd be awesome. We're going to chat a bit of equipment, or?
Well, like I said, I wanted to bring him on because he's kind of not a new guy to the space, but he's been buying up all the, and setting himself up a nice little kind of sector of windsurfing gear. I have heard he's might be getting a few sponsored riders coming more into the mix because he hasn't had so many in the past. And I've been kind of going, come on. So maybe we get him in and we'll have a chat, see what's going down there.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool. Well, I really look forward to this Chile event, actually. I think it's going to be very exciting to see. It's a pretty stacked field.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you guys all in the loop, and I guess we'll wait for the heat draw, Benny, and might do another bit of a rundown about that, huh?
Yeah, we can do some shorter podcasts. If you want to see some shorter podcasts, maybe some reaction stuff on the days that there is actually competition, or a little bit of an overview of what's happened in the live stream. If you're tuning into the live stream, maybe you're not going to want to tune into hear us talking about the live stream, but I know some people don't have time to watch the whole of the live stream. And if we've actually watched the whole live stream, we could maybe do a quick little overview of what we've seen if people are interested, because I know, now I'm driving, daughter to school every day. I'm listening to way more podcasts, it's 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back, another half an hour here, and just having podcasts on is actually kind of fun. So let us know in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next days.
See you guys.
It's that time of the week again. Sit back, relax, we got the brain of band. No need to stress, in the house is Van Bellen. The game is windsurfing, you can yell them or tell them. We get the news, the views, the win biz. The brand's gear, tips plus the world's best quiz. The Cubs PWA. We're professionals without the pay. There's nothing in pole dancing that we won't chat. From tandem boards to a windsurfing cat. It's your one-stop shop for a laugh and listen. Tune in each week or you'll be doing the missing.